Hi, Ethan. This is a review of your lesson from March 10th, 2023. And today was the day that we went ahead and put the entire scale together. Before this, you've been doing the low hand scale only, going from D, C, B, low A, low G, and then back up. And then separately, you were doing E, F, high G, high A. Today, we're going to put it all together. We did it in the lesson. And we're going to start, this is going to be your new warm-up. So we're going to take this nice and slowly. We're going to get started in the low G position, all the holes covered. So go ahead and get that going. Test it, make sure it sounds good. Here's a sound check, right? There we go. So hopefully that sounds right. Keep your fingers in this spot. And we're going to transition from note to note, nice and slowly. So it'll be a nice slow tempo. You hear that in the background? Ready? 1, 2. Okay, so we started from the bottom, low G, went all the way up to the top note, high A, and then we went all the way back down to low G. Now, I wrote this out on your page of music here later after you left your lesson, and at the top here, you have a new copy of this, so I want you to check this out. Have it highlighted in orange, and this is the entire scale starting on low G. Say it with me, low G, low A, B, C, D, E, F, high G, high A. And then in that scale we just did, I went back down. High A, high G, say it with me, F, E, D, C, B, A, low G. Every day I want you to practice saying that with me so you're used to it. Let's try the scale one more time, and then we're going to break down the hard part of the scale. Well, let's go ahead and try it again. Entire scale from low G up to high A, back down. Check your low G. Ready? And 1, 2. If that was a little bit fast for you, that is okay. I want you to stop the video and try it on your own. If that was just right for you, great. Next is the hardest part of the scale, which is to transition from D to E. Do you remember which notes are D to E? I'm going to go ahead and put the music up, the notes on the screen here. Can you find which one is D and which one is E? D, E. So on your sheet, what I did was I wrote out D's and E's here on the bottom. This is a D to E transition exercise. We have D, E, D, E, D, E, D, E. So I've written them out. Your job is to fill in these blanks, right? Looking at the notes, saying it out loud while you write it. But you can see it here, right? So there we go. We're going to do 4 transitions from D to E like this, like it shows right here at the bottom. All right? But before we do that, I want to show you what we talked about. The reason that's so hard is because there's a transition where we're in the D position, right? And we know that to go to the high hand, we have to, the E, the high hand note, we have to bring all these fingers down and lift the pinky. That's a lot of fingers moving, right? And what can happen, here's how it sounds when it's done properly. We go like this. We have a nice clean D sound and then a nice clean E sound. No sounds in between. But if we don't move our fingers at the proper time, what we can get is this. That unintended sound in between the D and the E is called a crossing sound. We do not want to make that sound. Good piping does not have crossing sounds. So we have to make sure we know how to not make that sound. The crossing sound in this case is when I'm accidentally closing to low G before I go up to E, like this in slow motion. Right? But we don't want that, because if you look at the music, does it show a low G in between the D and the E? No way. There's no low G in there, so we don't want it. So there's sort of a little bit of a strategy or a trick, you might say. It's not really a trick, but what it is it trains your fingers to understand and feel what it's like to do it correctly. We're in the D position. What we do is for slow motion, just for a little while, we're going to lift this E finger up and then bring these down and the pinky up. Okay, let's practice that together. Nice and slow. Here you're on the D position, pinky on the bottom hole. D, lift the E finger up, bring these fingers down and lift the pinky up. When you do that, you will not make a crossing sound. Listen. Right? Okay. Now, eventually what we want to do is bring these fingers down at the exact same time that we lift the E finger up. That's what we're working towards, but we're going to take it one step at a time. So let's do this transition together. We're going to do it nice and slowly one more time together. Blow with me. We're going to have you blow a D. Go ahead. And then you're going to copy me. There, you've successfully made it to E. If you had a little bit of trouble with that, pause the video here. Try it on your own a couple of times. Okay. So now what we're going to do that you've practiced that, or you've already done it properly and you're ready to move on, is we're going to do several of these in a row. We're going to do 4 of those transitions in a row. So we're going to start in the D position. Let's check it. Sound good? There's your D. Okay, you ready? Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Going back to D again. 1, 2. Last one. Getting the D position. 1, 2. Now, if you made any crossing sounds in that exercise that you just heard me do, hopefully you did it with me, pause the video and slow it down for yourself. Make it work for you. We do not want crossing sounds. If you hear it, doesn't mean you're a bad person, just means you need to fix it, right? Eventually, you want to be able to play it quickly, but for now, we're going to play it slowly. What I would recommend is you start really, really slowly, like this, and then you speed it up gradually. So watch this. Okay. What that involved was constantly blowing and going from D, E, back down to D, E, D, E, D, E, D, without taking any breaths in between the little packets of D and E. If that's too much, don't do it for now, but I want you to try it. So pause the video, try some of those on your own, see how it goes. No crossing sounds. Okay, so the next thing we worked on in the lesson was the 3 grace note exercise. You had done this the week before, and I'm going to set the metronome on in the background. This is 90 beats per minute. We're going to be in the low G position or the low A. Doesn't matter to me, okay? And we're going to be in that position, and you may recall we're going to lift the G grace note finger 3 times, the F grace note finger, or the F finger 3 times, E finger 3 times, and the D finger 3 times. And what we're listening for is a little blip, 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 like matching that metronome. So let's start it together. And 1, 2. Did you see what I did there? If you didn't, we're going to take a look at the music just to make sure. Your 3 grace note exercise on your page is on the second from the bottom line. And it says it right here, okay? And what you see is that the bottom note is always low A. That's because our fingers are in the low A position. But what we're moving are the little grace notes, the little blip sounds. And the first three are G, G, G. The next three are F, F, F. The next three are E, E, E. And the next three are D, D, D. And that's what we just did here. G, 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 F, 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 E, 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 D, D, D. Do it with me. Just say the notes, right? You can move your fingers too. Just say it. G, 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 F, 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 E, 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 D, D, D. Let's try it again with the metronome on in the background. Ready? And 1, 2. Again, 1, 2. Again, 1, 2. Now, if you were able to play along with me on that, that's great, but I still want you to pause the video, take some time, and do some of these on your own, and listen for, are the grace notes the same length? The little blip sounds, are they the same? Or are some of them longer? Sometimes some of our fingers like to go a little bit higher than the others. We want to make sure they're all the same sound. Blip, 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 like that. The other thing you want to check for is, are you landing back on the holes properly? Sometimes with this new longer chanter that you're using, you can maybe miss the landing. So listen for all that. Pause the video and do that. Okay, so you've just done the 3 grace note exercise. The last part of your practice is the 5 grace note exercise. And this is the exercise that has this rhythm. It goes like this. It goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So the grace notes are basically the same grace notes we did in the 3 grace note exercise, but we're doing that different rhythm. So if I'm in low A position here, right, and I do that rhythm with my finger, my G grace note finger, it sounds like this. That was one set, right? Right? It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. That's why it's called 5 grace note exercise. This grace note exercise was invented by Donald Gannaway from New Zealand, and his Bagpipe Manual is where I got this from. So thank you to Donald for that. But anyway, what we're going to do now is go over that. We're going to try it. On your music, I added the 5 grace note exercise. And what you can see here is that all of these melody notes are, what is it? Say low A. All of these are low A. It's the grace notes that change. The first set of 5 is the high G grace note. Just call them G grace notes. The next set of 5 is the F grace notes. See those Fs? Those little bitty balls are on the top line of the staff. Those are F grace notes. Next, we have E grace notes. There they are. They're in between the top 2 lines, the little balls of the notes. It says E grace notes. And then the last one, those little notes are on the D line of the staff, right? D grace notes. Now that's the pattern you've been doing all along. You're starting with the high pointer finger. Those are the G grace notes. Those are the F grace notes, E grace notes, D grace notes. All right, let's try it. The 5 grace note exercise. Remember the rhythm. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ready? And again, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now that may be too fast for your comfort, and that is okay. So what I would like you to do is at the when you're done with this video, is to do it on your own. But remember this rhythm and say it out loud. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then do it, mimic that exactly here. And make sure you're doing it properly. Have fun.